Thank you, everybody. I'm Alexandre. I'm head of core network and service platforms. So I manage both innovation teams and Unica teams that have been presented this week. So this is a closure presentation. So I wanted to do a quick recap on what is important for us and what is going to be our main focus. So firstly, one of our main focus is to be ready for 5G again. As Antonio and many people of my team have presented, we are seriously looking at end-to-end orchestration in the region of end of 2019, 2020. There's a huge trend now in edge cloud services, so it's something we are also putting into deployment and design, okay? And also we have a big focus in Telefonica to be end-to-end digitalized. So we are changing again our processes, and we will see again from all what our teams have been mentioned, what are the actions we are taking, and before concluding on the next steps, okay? So 5G readiness again, so it's a big trend in the industry. So all the suppliers are making a lot of promises right now, so that 5G is going to be basically based on microservices, that with network slicing on edge cloud, we'll be able to monetize further the network, okay? But we believe that if we keep on working as we are today, it's not going to happen really, because if the idea is to do it as today, to take a single supplier, both from the infrastructure and the software, we will not be able to do slicing. I mean, as a start, we have multiple software suppliers in our network, so we cannot have a vendor locking. So the base of everything, again, is separate hardware, infrastructure, and software. So we are really focusing deploying our cloud underlay network first, and then be able to host 5G on top of it, okay? Same thing, we don't foresee that we should bind basically the VNF supplier to the orchestration capability, which is what tends to happen right now in slicing. If you don't have the cloud infrastructure, you will certainly buy your slicing manager at the same time than your core network, which is not, I think, a good idea. So again, firstly, you need to put your cloud infrastructure, have a good overlay, and then being able to deploy 5G on top of it. Okay, so that's more or less how we see the evolution of our number of sites in the network in line with the VNF roadmap. So our main focus right now is to virtualize all the core network on the service platforms, okay, because the technology is ready and we are focusing on this. Right now we are deploying between 2 and 6 sites per operator. Okay, that's our objective for this year. We will have 21 sites and 11 operators with Unica capability, including Chile. We were there this week. Then for 2020, the objective for us is to have an underlay cloud network able to host 5G core, okay? We believe that the RAN technology will be just starting, okay? So our main objective in number of sites will be between 8 and 20, depends on the operator size. So 20 will be like an operation like Brazil, and 8 sites will be like an operation like Colombia. Okay, and we believe that once we have virtual RAN mature enough and in full deployment, the number of sites will increase dramatically towards over 100 sites per operator. Okay, so end-to-end orchestration, so we believe it's really important for us, okay? If we want to reach this zero-touch approach, we need to automatize everything. So right now, what we are automatizing is the VNF deployment, the control of the infrastructure, okay? But if we want to achieve zero touch, if we want to do network slicing correctly, we need this end-to-end orchestration capability, okay? In order to be able to parameterize the VNF automatically, in order to integrate to the VSS layer, okay? And also to integrate to the transport SDN, okay? This is required if you want to do slicing. Right now in Unica, we are using an overlay SDN for inter and intra-data center connectivity. Next steps is to connect to the transport SDN. Okay. We want to keep our architecture modular. That's what Antonio has focused on, is our objective. So what it means that this end-to-end orchestration has to have, let's say, a standard approach to interconnect to our infrastructure orchestration, to our MANO capability. So we believe that the standards are moving in the right direction for that. So 3GPP is working on it. We believe we will get it. Where we see some lack still of interconnectivity is with the VNF parameterization with the element manager of the VNF. It's quite complex, so there are some approaches in OSM, and we believe that it's a good approach, and we want to base our end-to-end service orchestrator on OSM stack. And we believe also that what is a bit flaky right now is the integration with the transport SDN. Okay, so we are fully confident that we will plug OSM and end-to-end orchestration to our Unica architecture, but the transport SDN and the VNF parameterization is something I think the industry should focus a bit more. So regarding edge cloud, right now there are a lot of discussion in the industry of edge cloud and new opportunities. But we are a bit concerned because we believe that edge cloud should not be a new NFVI, okay? It should be a continuity of the cloud infrastructure we are deploying. So basically we are going from the left side to the right side. If you don't start with the left side, there is no point to have a cloud edge discussion, okay? So we see kind of three segments in our network. We'll have network centralized data centers. So they can be based on different type of configuration we have designed, like what we call Unica main data center or Unica micro DCs, which is a lighter data center in terms of control. This micro data center can sit either in a fully centralized way in our network, or it can sit also in our central office. So in Colombia this year, we are deploying some micro data center supporting IMS in central offices. And after, as Antonio has explained, we will have a wider set of data centers we call Unico. Unico mainly because we are redesigning the interconnectivity of the data center with the layer 2 and 3 in our network. It's what Antonio has explained. We are trying to optimize this interconnectivity with the layer 2 in order to be ready also to host new VNF like a BRAS or a virtual OLT, etc. Okay? And then we'll have data centers beyond the central office. So it's what we call ultra edge. Okay? It's when you have to deploy a compact data center in a street cabinet or in customer premises. So we see some demands actually on the market for that, especially in LTE enterprise. So a lot of B2B customers, they want to have their own infrastructure. So if we want to be able to deploy automatically in customer premises, we need such mechanism. We need to have a common orchestration end-to-end. Our aim is to keep a common orchestration and be able to deploy VNF anywhere at any point in our network. Okay. So edge requires some optimization, as we said. Okay, the first thing, I mean, we can deploy a full data center at the edge. The only thing is not efficient, right? So the work we are doing is to make this data center efficient. It doesn't mean that commercially we cannot do it right now, okay? What we mean to be more efficient, in terms of the Vim, we are talking with some distributions supplier in order to have like centralized Vim control, okay, in order to have a lighter Vim support at the edge of the network. We need to look at also the infrastructure, okay? So if we go to a micro DC approach or a central office approach, we can maintain the type of infrastructure we have. But if you go to a ultra edge scenario, then you need to go with compact hardware, very low footprint, very low power consumption in order to go to customer premises. Okay, and right now we are looking at that. We believe that the industry has some product, but we need also to have open product. Right now they are kind of more proprietary. In terms of networking is what I say. Sorry, I did a small mistake. It's not layer 1, it's layer 2 and 3. We are looking to optimize in terms of interconnecting our data center to the transport layer. And then once you have your full automatized network, then you can start speaking about opening it to third party. The industry right now is doing the reverse. They are trying to find the model before doing the deployments. We believe we need to first deploy for our own infrastructure, for our own needs, and then after we'll open it to the market, okay? And for that, to have an open edge cloud platform, let's say, or open cloud platform, we need several things. We need the end-to-end orchestration again, okay? And this end-to-end orchestration needs to have basically the right set of API in order to be open to application like cognitive intelligence. So we are working right now in some advanced project with our CDO team, who manage the Force platform and Aura, etc. You need to have a portal capability in order to expose the infrastructure to third-party apps, and you need also this integration to the BSS in line with the TM forum. Okay, but what is clear is that to have this ecosystem of applications, new applications coming to your network, you need the support of containers, okay? So we'll have certainly a two-step approach. Firstly, containers over virtual machines before supporting loads directly on containers, because we believe that containers technology right now has a lot of drawbacks in terms of all the APAT capabilities that Antonio have shown before to get the right level of throughput, performance, etc. Okay, but more or less that will be the kind of architecture you will have to support, which is mainly a similar architecture that what is a content management architecture. Okay, but we will have certainly our infrastructure to support this container approach for continuous deployments. Okay. Then, what is our objective to be a full digitalized company? So, as we are saying, the first thing we believe is that to be fully digitalized, to go quickly, to have continuous deployment, continuous integration, we need to automatize our testing, okay? Most of our testing right now is done manually, okay? And we need to have a clear process for that. So we have two activities for that. The first one is the VNF labs that Antonio is leading. Okay, so we are selecting a testing house in order to automatize this process. Right now it's manual, it's done by Antonio's team. And we'll test onboarding, global functional testing, and also VNF testing locally at OB level, okay? So with this testing house, we'll have a suite of tools in order to automatize all the process, trace capability, etc. Then we have the infra lab where we test Unica infrastructure itself, okay? And basically here, in that lab, we test the end-to-end architecture of the infrastructure, and we also do globally the local testing in terms of validating the parameterization of the platform in the operator, okay? And both these streams, our objective is to have everything fully automatized and spend days doing certification and not weeks as we are doing today, okay? But in order to do that, our main objective, and we are quite hard in that in Telefonica with our operator, is to maintain a common technology. If we want to industrialize all these processes, we cannot have different technology across the group, okay? So it's more or less the approach we are trying to tackle with this testing. So there were a lot of questions about DevOps. So there are two approaches. Again, if we go to the infrastructure, our Unica supplier, more or less right now is providing like 3 software drops per year, okay? So obviously we are not deploying 3 software drops per year in the network because the network has its own operational complexity and mostly is to not impact the NFV, okay, in production. But what we are doing is this continuous testing against our lab, okay? So around the sprints of that Ericsson is providing us, we are basically building our own one. Okay, we are doing this continuous testing of the release, and we decide when we want a release to go to production. And the way we are working is an end-to-end team, so we don't have like a Unica person only in charge of this testing. We have experts from the transport team, from the operation team, from the security team, so we have like a squad doing this end-to-end testing, doing the adjustment on the release based on their requirement, based on operation requirement, security requirement, and we are able to adapt faster the testing with them on board from day one, okay? Then we have the VNF testing, and to be honest, in terms of VNF, we are not there yet in the way that we don't have like this delivery cycle yet from the VNF suppliers, some things they are planning to do, but they are not doing yet. Our idea is that if tomorrow IMS supplier or packet core supplier start giving us like 5-6 releases per year, will be to adopt more or less same approach of continuous testing in our lab. But the advantage of Unica in there is that to do this VNF testing, we can do different tenants. We can do a tenant to do this continuous testing and integration in our network without impacting production. And we can have the tenant where the VNF is in the production environment. So I'm trying to get back the time that Antonio has wasted. So in terms of conclusions, okay, the first thing first is that we need to ensure proper cloud coverage. So speaking about strategy about edge cloud and going now to edge cloud, if we don't have a end-to-end cloud strategy and you don't start deploying your cloud infrastructure, you will not be in the right direction. And actually, if you are serious about 5G, if you didn't start deploying your cloud infrastructure, you are already too late for 5G. We are really putting all the efforts on that deployment volume we have. We don't believe that we are worse than other operator. So take into account you will need 4 years, 3 years to change your internal processes, build the skills, and 5G is in 2020. So we think we are in track, but if you didn't start yet, I think you will be in trouble. You need to deploy the right tools, because going faster, doing continuous deployment integration, if you don't have tools to automate testing, it will not happen. Once you have all these, once you have your cloud deployment, you have your processes industrialized, automatized, then you can start thinking about enhancing your orchestration capability, approach a zero-touch concept, okay, for full life cycle of the VNF control. And when everything is working perfectly, you can think about opening the platform to third party, create new value in your business, support containers, VApps with continuous development, etc., and get this monetization of your strategic position you have with the network, okay? So that's the steps we are following, and we have tried to explain during all the week, basically. So I don't know if there is any questions.
Thank you very much, Alexandre. Okay, quick questions before lunch, anyone? I think they all want their lunch. And also, it was a great conclusion to a wonderful session. Thank you very much indeed, Alexandre.